This is Ashley Jones coming at you with my second official live stream. Um, Usually in the past, before I could live stream and everything, I had to rely on just making regular YouTube videos. But now that I can live stream, um, it's much easier because I only have to take a couple steps to get ready for the live stream. The only frustrating thing is once I'm live, if a malfunction occurs or I need to move or something happens with like the dogs barking or something, I apologize if something starts going wrong, including any crackling, which I'm hoping isn't happening. So today I wanted to get to know more of my viewers by asking a couple questions. One, and you could use the chat room too if you would like to for this. That way I could get to know a few people. But as I say in every video, please no bullying of each other or myself. No negative comments. Just be nice. Be fair. If there's a topic that I need to discuss with you about my Disneyland YouTube channel or my group, I will gladly answer those questions. I have unfortunately had to block 4 people recently and remove them from my channel because unfortunately a few people were starting to not only say negative comments about my YouTube channel and being rude to one another, but unfortunately they were asking some really, really inappropriate questions. So please don't do that and start behaving inappropriately, or unfortunately I'm going to have to ban you permanently. This page is not for people's use of, nasty, foul language, bullying against the autistic and special needs community, and other things that sadly are still taking place because people don't understand the autism spectrum that much still. I have to say, yes, we're doing better at trying to understand some things about autism and what it is and everything, but I think we have a long way to go. Let me first, before I get into some Disneyland news, let me tell you a little bit more about my experiences with autism that may differ from everybody else's. Autism is a very, very personal thing because not one case is the same. Yes, I may have some things that other autistic people may show, but because I'm high functioning and have gotten some services over time and everything, I don't do some of the stims, as they're called, as some others do. I was never really a flapper, like flapping my hands around and my wrist around that much. Though when I did listen to music and was in choir and everything, I did move my head side to side, but I've gotten a lot, like pretty much 98% of the time now, I don't do it anymore. I may have done it on accident a couple times in the last few years, but it's becoming exceedingly rare for me to do that. Another thing I used to do for some reason was when I would get in front of somebody to perform, I would get really scared. So I would be pretty much standing there looking at who was next to me more than concentrating at first. That was when I was in preschool and kindergarten and having to do some of the little Christmas performances, and even for church. The first person that really started helping me more come out and stop being more afraid on stage and everything was the piano player for our old church at Pasadena Covenant, Roland Tabell. I thank him every day, even though he's gone now. He was an amazing mentor to me because he understood that I was different from a lot of the other kids, but at the same time, he didn't treat me any differently than the others, besides maybe telling the other kids that I was slightly different and may, not interact the same way. Which was true. When I was younger, I didn't really like talking to people all that much, and I was kind of thrust out there sometimes to make me a little more comfortable to talk to people. And I'm glad people thrust me out there to talk because, unfortunately, if I didn't have the exposure that I've had to learn to be social and to interact with people, unfortunately, I would find myself probably locked in my bedroom or, something else. I don't really know what would have happened. But I definitely wouldn't have this group now if I wasn't social, or this YouTube channel, or all the interactions that I've really had with different people in and outside of Disneyland. My family noticed too early on, even before I was diagnosed with autism, that during family gatherings, I really didn't want to be around people too much. Unfortunately, I used to go in my bedroom a lot and shut the door and really not interact at first. I think the two people that really helped me with that were, well, actually three people. My dad, my grandfather, and my dad's brother. They really had to at first tell me, well, are you afraid to be around your family? Or, sorry, our dogs are barking in the background. I really apologize for that. But anyway, now back to what I was saying. So my grandfather and my uncle thought at first I was just shy. And I'm finally like, I didn't really know what to say. Finally, at 9 years old, when I was diagnosed with the high-functioning autism, everything really fell into place because I was still really shy and quiet a little bit more, but I finally began going out into, like, the family room with my family instead of going into my bedroom. And starting to really have fun at all the parties we had, especially Christmas Eve and my dad's side of the family coming for Christmas Eve, or their own little Christmas with us, actually. So Sorry about that again. Our dogs are hearing what seems to be wind. We could be getting Santa Anas tonight, and they don't like that at all. Sorry, I have to keep scooting up for the camera because I'm really short and I keep sinking into the place where I'm sitting. Anyway, now the one thing that got me excited recently was that I told you in the first live stream I did, I met my friend Mary, who has both high-functioning autism and cystic fibrosis. And even though her life expectancy is expected to be very, very short, only up to 45 years old, she's now 40, like I said, but she's still thriving in so many ways. She uses the power scooter to get around, unless she wants to walk a little bit. She has to do the breathing treatments, and she has to use inhalers, but she doesn't let it stop her, and that's why I'm so proud of her, because a lot of people let, illnesses scare them, unfortunately, and, they don't become as social as they once were. Many people retreat from public life because they are just really shocked at the stigma that they get from people in the community, in the world. And unfortunately, our society isn't always as kind to those with special needs or terminal illnesses. I try to be really, helpful to those with all kinds of special needs and illnesses, because after my cousin Julie passed away from cystic fibrosis when I think I was 14 when it happened, I was not only really upset, but I had to realize that we knew it was going to happen, but you still can't really accept it sometimes. Sometimes I say, because I do go to church and everything, and I've really tried to, ask God why sometimes he does things that he has been doing, like taking away my family members and, a couple friends and everything from church and everything that are getting really old. Unfortunately, there is nothing we can do to turn back the hands of time and tell God, hey, no, you can't do that right now. Nope, it's gonna happen whether we like it or not. I realize that, but sometimes it still really makes me frustrated. Recently, too, when I was at Disneyland last time, I stood by having a great time and everything, but I also realized how divided some Disney fans are on certain issues inside the theme parks, as well as the way they handle guests with special needs, like some of the guests especially. Unfortunately, at one point I got cut in line when I was standing near Pirates of the Caribbean in the queue. I finally didn't put up with it anymore, though, and a cast member luckily was standing nearby when I told the guests that they could not pull forward or cut in front of me, that I was there before they were. The guest started treating me pretty rude and saying that he was going to cut in front of me, But the cast member finally intervened and got the cast member not only to get out of his position behind me, but because of yelling at other guests who were telling him to stay in his spot, he got moved to the back of the line as well. And he was told if his uh, abusive language was being used too much longer, he would be told to leave because Disneyland now has a new, well, I don't know how new of a rule it is, but there's now a no profanity rule and no abuse rule. So anybody cussing at cast members especially and or other guests may be asked to leave if their behavior does not improve. Which I'm really happy about because people today are mad at, everyday life or something. I don't know what was with the person for being so, gung-ho about cutting in line and having the mood swings, obviously, that this person was having. Hot weather, bad day, I don't know. Some people are just like that, unfortunately. And I guess it's taken me a long time to realize that I can only do so much to keep myself not only happy there, but also safe and in accordance with, the rules and everything. And by not, doing the same thing that this other guest was doing, I was told that I not only handled the, problem appropriately, but I didn't let the person win either. Line cutting is not only really bad and annoying, it is just downright, disgusting that somebody thinks after, let's say, 45 minutes in line, they can't wait anymore and they just want to get in front of you. Well, when that happens, if you're at Disneyland with us on July 4th for the Disneylanders with Special Needs meetup group, use your words, not your hands. Talk to a cast member if somebody starts either cutting in front of you or using body language that makes you uncomfortable. Yelling and cussing also is another one to report. And also, if somebody tries to touch your belongings or your body in a weird way, then you need to say stop, walk away, and go over to a cast member right away. There are undercover security guards at Disneyland. I'm not sure how you can tell otherwise that there are security guards. Unfortunately, finding a cast member that is able to help you, sometimes the only thing that can be difficult is they deal with so many guests on a first name basis and everything. They're busy. They're running around all over the place. So some of those cast members may not be able to get to you right away, but be patient, be kind to that cast member, and let them know honestly and directly what is causing your anger and distress. The other problem I'm seeing frequently happening in not only Disneyland, but everywhere else in the communities now, due, I guess, to people's anger about the COVID-19 virus and all that, is generally just sour moods, not wanting to, follow what's expected of them. And unfortunately, nasty confrontation with different, staff of different places. I'm glad I haven't flown for a long time now because unfortunately, I don't think I'll be going on an airplane for quite a while unless I can help it because of the way people have gotten on airplanes, yelling and screaming and having to be taken off a flight because they can't behave themselves. I wouldn't want to be around that. I'd be super embarrassed. Not only that, I think I would just probably, you really can't melt for real, but you would really want to sometimes. Melt away and hide. Like, you don't even want to be around certain people like that. The only other confrontation that I really had on public transportation was on AMTRAK. What was it? I guess less than 2 years ago. When I went to Disneyland on the day it was reopening, a lady on AMTRAK unfortunately lost her nerve for whatever reason, and she started spitting at the train conductor and other people trying to restrain her. She would not stop. Loud cussing, screaming, and banging. So they finally called the police, and the train was stopped while we were still away from Fullerton, going to the next station. But the train was stopped and delayed on part of the track, away from the station. I think we were about 7 minutes away from Fullerton. When everything happened, I just kind of really didn't know what to do. I really did get a little bit frightened because of the loud commotion and banging. And her words really scared me. And then I heard the spitting sound. And I really felt bad for the people trying to restrain her and the train conductor. The train conductor was trying his best not to, be fazed or anything by the incident. But at a time like this, you sure don't want somebody spitting on you. Not only that, it is absolutely not okay to do that to anybody. So when that happened, the cops put a spit guard on her while she was still trying to pull away and scream. But they had a hold on her. They finally secured her, arrested her, and took her off the train. It was really scary, so please don't be that person to where you get in trouble for, a weird, problem that you could have prevented all along. I really don't quite understand people sometimes. Now, on a happier note, the other thing that is going to be really cool is on July 4th when I'm there with hopefully a lot of my viewers and everything and other people in the theme parks. If anybody has a question about, what our group is about and everything, and if, there are any limitations to the groups or anything. The only limitation I will say is, one, I cannot pay for people's tickets or do their reservation for them to the parks. one, that is not my job. Two, people need to be responsible for themselves. And three, I'm not equipped to be really too tech savvy in terms of, stuff like that. So, those are the reasons why, otherwise, you are responsible for not only getting the July 4th Disneyland reservation for yourself up to 60 days in advance. Yes, you heard that right. You can do your Disneyland July 4th reservation, which for 60 days ahead, which will be, I guess, correct me if I'm wrong, May 4th. But, so far, I think I've covered a lot of that. Does anybody have any questions so far? Comments, suggestions, or anything else? I sure don't see that chat head very much at all lately. A lot of my other videos I've gotten comments and even suggestions. So please comment in the comment box if there's anything you need to know or anything. So, the other thing I'm going to say now too is if anybody can tell me what their favorite, ride at Disneyland is, or California Adventure, or a favorite Disney character, tell me. I would love to know. My favorite character is Goofy. I like Goofy because he's funny, he's sincere, he really cares about, everybody around him. And even though he can be clumsy, he can actually do really good things to help people and make them happy. And that's why I think Goofy has been such a popular character for a long time and currently, is because Goofy stays true to his personality that he was given. Even though Goofy, the really strange history with Goofy is when Goofy first was created, he had the very unfortunate word of being called Dippy Dog at first. And yes, thank you, Ben Blanchard, for your comment just now. Yes, Pinto Colvig was the original voice of Goofy until his passing, I believe, in 1967. So, hats off to Pinto Colvig, who's in heaven and has been for a long time. That he really, made Goofy definitely an inspiring character. Now, Goofy has been played by a few people, but he is now played by Bill Farmer, who has been the voice for Goofy, I think, since, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think since the mid-80s. So, Bill Farmer does a great job as well for Goofy. I have been impressed by Bill Farmer and his ability to handle Goofy's voice work. Goofy, to me, seems to have a very complicated voice, and characteristics in his voice must be really hard, but not for somebody who's trained necessarily. Let's just say normal people probably could not get the voice right for the most part. And I think that goes for a lot of the Disney characters. So again, thank you, Ben, for your comment about Pinto Coldfig, the original voice for Goofy. Um, the other thing that is happening next month on March 6th, Mickey's Toontown in Disneyland is going to close for about a year or a little more than a year due to extensive remodeling that is coming in, including for Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway, the removal of, I guess, the Chippendales treehouse is permanently going away, as well as the Jolly Trolley station is, and the rails, I guess, are going to be taken off completely. Um, I do remember the Jolly Trolley a little bit, but it really has been a long time for me because I don't remember it super well. The other thing that is kind of sad is I think once Toontown changes, it's definitely going to be very, very different. And a little bit of, the end of some nostalgia. But the beginning of new memories, happiness, and fun and relaxation for families. I will still enjoy it because I'm excited for Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. I've seen the videos for the one at Walt Disney World, and it looks really cool. I have to say that. But personally, I've never been to Walt Disney World, but have always wanted to go. So if anybody can also share how they are feeling about Mickey's Toontown changing, including some guesses of what's going to happen, some fears, excitement, or just questions, please post them in the comment box down below because I would like to know what you guys are thinking about this whole change. Another thing that's happening is Pirates of the Caribbean at Disneyland and I guess the Indiana Jones adventure are going to go down for a refurb for a little bit, as well as the sailing ship Columbia is not slated to open until March 25th. The sailing ship Columbia was closed during the pandemic up till, now because I guess they felt like people were in too close quarters or something. Or the boat just really needed some TLC, unfortunately. I'm not really sure at this point. But I'm excited to see what's going to happen with all the refurbs and everything. Hopefully with Pirates of the Caribbean, it won't change anything too much besides aesthetically pleasing, and maybe because due to warmer weather coming, maybe they'll make the water spray people just a little bit more. I like when the water gets me on Pirates because it's not too much water. Like, let's say you get really soaked on Splash Mountain when it's open, and you will be wet on that. A lot of times when I'm on Splash Mountain when it's open, I wear a poncho because the last time I went on and I got super, super wet, let's just say I didn't dry off for like up to 5 hours. I was soaked. And I really didn't like it either because I also am going to start wearing like shoe coverings or something or Ziplocs around my feet because my shoes got so wet and inside and everything. And then I got water blisters and pruny looking kind of, wet feet like I've been in a swimming pool. It wasn't fun. I'll just say that. Tell me too about one of your funniest experiences that happened to you at Disneyland and or California Adventure on a ride. I hear people all the time saying that they lost an object such as sunglasses, hats, even embarrassing things like, your keys. It's really scary because unfortunately I've never, had to go through that, but I've talked to a ton of people who have lost something. Another funny memory for me was the last time I was on Splash Mountain. They put me in the front of the ride, and unfortunately my mask got so full of water, I almost swallowed some of the water, which was disgusting. But I finally got it out before I could, choke on the water. It was really gross, too, when it got up my nose. I didn't take off my glasses because I can't see too well without them. So I had my glasses on the right and they were drenched. But the lens wipe and some paper towel and stuff got the water off of them. And then let's see what else I can say. Another thing that I'm finding really funny is that people are a little frustrated with the dining reservations and stuff still, but I haven't really had too many problems. I've been a walk up to the Blue Bayou because I either just go with one other person or I'm by myself. So, I haven't had a problem with the Blue Bayou. And I go there a lot because when I eat, I typically get the chicken. I think it's the citrus grilled chicken or whatever it's called. But instead of lobster that comes with it, they let me get steak, which is wonderful. Because with my autism, one of my sensory things is smell and taste really bad. I don't like the smell or the taste of seafood at all. It's really just, to me, oh, and they scare me too. Fish, really do scare me the way they look. I don't know what it is, because with autism, sometimes you can't explain what sets you off. And it does get very frightening. So now I just know that they know me and they know how to handle my special needs and everything. And I'm so thankful for that because the Blue Bayou has been an amazing restaurant for me and a great dining experience always. The last time I was at Disneyland, I also got in for one day for lunch and one day for breakfast at the Carnation Cafe. And I really loved it. For breakfast, I got biscuits and gravy and fruit. And I got a coffee and some water. Then for my lunch, I got the next day, I got the fried chicken, the mashed potatoes, and salad, and it was awesome. I really enjoyed that because The chicken didn't have too much gravy. It was perfect. And the potatoes were just wonderful. I will always give really high marks to the Carnation Cafe. The Carnation Cafe has been a staple at Disneyland for, I think, since 1955 even. So the year the park opened. So, Walt Disney enjoyed like the Carnation Cafe and the, Coca-Cola refreshment corner and all of those. And Walt Disney, contrary to what a lot of people would think, he actually really loved a lot of food that you would think, how is he so, fit and everything? But he was, because he walked around a lot and he kept himself busy. But he was definitely a fan of junk food. One of his daughters, before she passed away, put in a book that her father really did not like a lot of salads and healthy food. Kind of a junk food person. She laughed about it, but at least it made, her be able to say that not everybody can shake their addiction to junk food, and it's okay in moderation. Like I said in the last live stream, when I was probably 24, 25 years old, I was at my heaviest, which was 235. I was massive and I did not like the way I looked. So unfortunately, I really hid away for a while and really just tried my best to do what I could to help myself. And in the last few years, I really have begun walking a lot, trying to go out and be social, so I'm not sitting all the time at home with the bag of chips or something. Because that's not going to help anything. I like actually going out and having fun with people, even if it's just to go, grab a bite to eat or some coffee or something, or a meal. But then I need to walk afterwards, because then I know I would have consumed enough calories to where exercise could be important. Now my current weight is down to 171. I had a little slip for a while to where 3 weeks ago I went up to 173. And I was kind of getting a little scared, because I had to admit, I don't want to gain weight, but sometimes it happens. But now I got those 2 pounds off again. So if anybody has any questions so far, comments, suggestions, and or other theme park, information about Disneyland you want me to cover, including questions about Disney voice actors, rides, anything, you can post it in the comment box down below. I would say the hardest thing about these live streams is sometimes I have run out of things to say, but I really enjoy this new live streaming stuff and everything. But I am afraid I'm starting to run out of things to talk about. So for today, Disneylanders with special needs, this is Ashley Jones signing off, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.